Time for the Tesla and Palantir weekly update. And I'm going to start off with Tesla just to show you what's really happening here on linear scale first. So we can see that from the all-time high in 2021 all the way down to the low in 2023, it actually is still holding the 786, the 347.58. This is a very, very important number right here. So I think this is actually more important than any other number to maintain. So this is going to be mainly the main focus for Tesla to stay above. And we can even go to the log scale, and I can show you it also closed above this 353.19, the 886. So two important numbers here, but I think that 347 maybe just is a little bit more important. But this is a great sign that it's above both, right? So I'm going to be focusing on both the 353.19 and this 347.58 into the weeks to come. And if price stays above that, then I think it has a good potential to go higher. And not only that, it's time to add up a bunch of different confluences of support here with Tesla. And I'm going to start with the Ichimoku here. And the Ichimoku baseline, 345.56, it also wicked through and it closed above. So that's also another indicator of a perfect back test. And if we also go to the Bollinger Band here on the weekly chart, you can also see, guess what? It was a perfect back test of that 20-week moving average right there at 349.24. So many confluences of support. Does that mean that price is going to go lower, or is it just going to continue to maybe build a base in this zone or go higher? Well, one thing else I can add for you guys is the bull market support band, and I can show you here that also it was a perfect wick through the bull market support band, and it went through and recovered nicely, and now it is above as well. And if you ask, what is the bull market support band? Well, we can go into that indicator and you can see that it's just the red line here is the 20-week simple moving average, and the green line here is the 21-week exponential moving average. So it's above both, right? And not only that, you just add everything to it, it's above all of those, right? So all of them together combined, perfect wick through of all that support, perfect recovery, and it closed above. So does this mean the bottom is in? I mean, if price stays above this number, above all of this, then I think so. Yeah, right. Can it wick through again next week or in the weeks to come, and then close back above all levels again? Yeah, that's also a possibility. But I think, judging by all these confluences of support, I think there's a great opportunity for the bottom to be close, to be near, or already in. So with that said, where is price going to be going next? And for that answer, I'm going to go to my linear scale again right here. And this is the whole story of where it's going. So it doesn't look like it's really ready to go higher just yet, right? It kind of has to get back above this 358 zone, the orange level of the GAN there, for price to go higher. And what do we see? Well, if price did get rejected by it. So that is the range, right? The range is basically that 347, maybe 345 zone. And that is your support zone with a wick below. And your resistance is 358 all the way into the 360s for a wick above. So that is the tight range that we're looking at. This is something that needs to break in order to flip back to a support and go higher. So yeah, I'm watching the 345, 347 zone as support, watching this 358, 360 zone as resistance, and I got to see which one breaks first. And if this 358 zone breaks first and flips to a support, then I think the bottom is in, and then it's ready to go higher once again. And now it's time for Palantir, and Palantir just looks like it does not want to stop. It's another weekly all-time high candle close, right? It closed the week at all-time highs again. And what does that mean? Where is support then for this chart? Well, there's a couple levels of support that we can watch. And the first level of support for Palantir is going to be 108.23. This 2.618 Fibonacci extension level on linear scale here, and that is your first level. If that ever became, if that ever started to close below that 108 level, then the next level of support is going to be this log scale 1.414, and that's at 104.21. And then if that ever broke as a level, then you would have this linear scale 94.71, that 2.272. So you have many different layers of support in the 100s, and I think the lowest it might even go is 94.71 if it ever dropped below 100, but I'm not even sure it will, right? So in the meantime, I'm always about one level at a time, and the focus is just maintaining above this 108.23. And if that 108.23 continues to hold as support, then I'm not going to assume lower at all. And then essentially the next level of resistance is going to be this 147.31. So does that mean it's just going to go straight up to there? Well, maybe not, right? And the reason why is on this log scale GAN that I have right here for Palantir. And I'm going to just take off all these indicators so we can see it more clearly. And it's this angle right here. This angle right here, this green angle, and that is my resistance angle. So yes, it closed above, right? But guess what? Next week, if it opens up at 119 or 120, that is right exactly on this angle precisely. So it's still going to be resistance. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it has to go back down to that 108 or below to retest support. It could just keep pressing up against this angle week after week after week and then keep going higher, right? It could continue doing this just like it did right here. See, every week it was pressing up and almost touching it every single week. This angle back in October 2023, September 2023, November of 2023, it kept touching that angle all the way up until it got to this orange level, and then it got rejected and came back down. So if it does anything like that, does that mean it's going to go straight to like $280? I don't know. But I do know that I don't think it's ready to just skyrocket yet, unless, like skyrocket even more, I should say, unless there's a huge bullish engulfing candle way above it and then it flips it to support and then it just goes, right? That is the only option. But in the meantime, I don't know if I really see that. I see something similar to right here. What happened in August of 2023 all the way up to November of 2023. I kind of see something similar there where it could just keep pressing up against as resistance week after week after week after week. And then perhaps there'll be a correction at some point and then continue its journey higher. But in the meantime, do I see some significant pullback? No, I don't. And is it possible to go back and retest this arc here around the 80s? I mean, one level at a time, right? And if that 108 level does ever fail, then we can discuss further levels to the downside. But in the meantime, that 108 level is your support, and your resistance is basically around current price. Maybe the 120s, maybe 121 to 122, but that is your resistance until something changes. So this chart is extremely bullish, but if you're not already in it, I don't know. Like, it's kind of a risky thing to just jump in at all-time highs because it could easily correct down to the 108 or even lower before price really wants to return higher. So just be cautious at resistance here, guys. And it is at resistance, and it could remain at resistance for weeks if it keeps on just pressing up against this angle as resistance for the weeks to come. So I'm going to be monitoring this angle a lot throughout the weeks and the months to come to see how price reacts off of it. And if it ever flips it to a support by a huge margin, then we can discuss going a lot higher a lot sooner. But until then, this could slowly just trickle up just like it did in 2023 for some weeks until it's really ready to have somewhat of a correction before continuing its journey higher and higher. But yeah, this chart is bullish, and I would not worry about any huge downside risk just yet, unless that 108 level gets broken as support.